Imagine entering a dark cave, surrounded by ancient paintings and coal residues left from past fires. The first thing that probably comes to your mind is, this was the life of cave dwellers. But was it really like that? In this video, we're going to explore whether early humans actually lived in caves or not. Well, maybe like many people, you've always imagined cave dwellers leading simple lives in caves, just as movies depict. One of the oldest examples is the famous movie The Flintstones, made in the 1960s, which shows cave dwellers living in caves with happy, funny families. These movies and cartoons shaped public perception and created this idea. But the reality is much more complicated than what we see in the media. In fact, early humans used caves mostly as temporary shelters, not as permanent residences. Researchers and archaeologists say that early humans mostly used caves as shelters when the weather was harsh or when they were at risk of attacks from wild animals. These caves could protect them from cold or rain, but they were not their permanent homes. Archaeological evidence shows that in places like Lascaux Cave in France and Altamira Cave in Spain, where famous wall paintings have been found, early humans also used caves for art and religious rituals. These caves were places that, due to their protection, easily preserved cultural evidence. Specifically, in Lascaux Cave, paintings of animals like bison and deer exist, which may have been used for divination and hunting rituals. These paintings were perhaps not only for aesthetic purposes, but also to establish a connection with the spiritual world and hunting. Now, you may be wondering, if humans didn't live in caves, where did they live? The simple answer is, early humans mostly lived in open spaces, close to water sources. Studies show they built shelters from natural materials, like tree branches and animal skins, to protect themselves from dangers. One reason caves have attracted so much attention is the paintings and artworks found within them. For example, the famous paintings in Lascaux Cave in France and Altamira Cave in Spain, dating back about 15,000 to 20,000 years, are full of images of animals like horses, bison, and deer. These works show that early humans not only used caves as shelters, but also as places to display their art and culture. These paintings may signify early humans' desire to enhance their religious feelings or hunting magic. In fact, cave art is considered one of the first signs of symbolic thinking in human history. Now that we know caves were used more for temporary shelter, the question arises, why are most archaeological discoveries made in caves? The reason is that caves preserve artifacts better. Caves provide environments that, due to their low temperature and humidity, can preserve historical records for thousands of years. In fact, many artifacts and tools found in excavations have been well preserved due to these specific conditions in caves. In open spaces, many artifacts are lost due to natural factors like rain, wind, or climate changes. But caves can act as natural archives. In general, we can say that early humans didn't always live in caves. They used caves more as temporary shelters, not as permanent homes. Archaeological studies in various parts of the world show that early humans mostly lived in open spaces, near water sources. For example, in Africa, in areas like the Great Rift Valley, evidence of open-air settlements has been found, showing that humans lived in these places and used stone tools for hunting and daily life. So, the next time you think about early humans, remember that they didn't just live in caves, but also in open spaces, and used natural materials for shelter. Caves played an important role in preserving archaeological records, but their lives were much more complex and advanced than the images we see in movies.